Hey, review family, keep it high, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy, and I'm back again to bring you another video. Welcome back to another album review. In this one, I'm going to be doing an album review of No Cap by Kap G. So, if you are unfamiliar with Kap G, this is actually my first Kap G album that I've heard, but I did a bit of research on him to get some background information on the artist. He's a 24-year-old rapper from Georgia. He has released 5 mixtapes, 1 EP, and this is his second full-length studio album. He released one in 2017, which was entitled, I'm not exactly sure how to say it, but Super Jeffy, Super Jeef. And he has also collaborated with Pharrell Williams, he has collaborated with Chris Brown, and some other big rappers on this project. So, he is of Mexican descent, and that's one thing I got to kind of mention right off the bat, is Kap G has a very interesting way of putting forth his rapping, where he will have this strange lispy sound at times, almost like this, at the end of certain vowels, at the end of certain sentences. He'll put that in, and it's very noticeable, but not necessarily in a bad way. I don't think it detracted anything from the project itself. I felt like it was it made it unique. It gave it a bit of spice. But see, that's something I believe this album needs more of, because this is a 12-track album. A lot of the tracks do not eclipse the 3-minute mark. A lot go 3 minutes, exactly 3 minutes, and then below. A lot of the tracks are in the 2-minute mark, and I really was kind of iffy. It was a mixed bag. That's the best way I can put it. It tries so hard to produce bangers. It really is wanting to be an amazing hip-hop album. It's wanting to be just an outstanding rap album. And you can feel that Kap G really is giving it like his all to make these tracks catchy, earwormy, just bangers. And I think that for some it works, but not all of them. I think that on this album, that is the biggest detracting factor from it, is it's trying so hard with, at a lot of times, too little of results. I feel like these tracks don't feel like you can distinguish them from a lot of other contemporary artists that are on Kap G's tier, let alone the rappers that are above Kap G's tier and that are making even bigger and better and higher produced music. The production and the mixing on this album is really good. It's trying really hard. Kap G's flows are good. He's trying so hard. But this album gets bogged down by not only super simplistic lyrics that are so dime a dozen, so you've heard them before, that they're not interesting at all. There's no funny wordplay. There is no humorous dialogue in these lines. There's nothing double meaning. There's no double entendres. I mean, there's double entendres, but they're so on the nose, so on the cheek, on the cuff of just trying to be funny, that it ends up sapping them of whatever funny, humor that was initially trying to be conveyed in that line. Like on the song, Dasani, where there's, jokes about, Dasani water, and it's could you not have done a bit more with that to make it a bit more interesting, a bit more spice? Go the extra mile for experimentation and make it interesting, because simplicity is fine, but not for when there's so many rappers that are doing the same thing that you're doing, and especially rappers that are doing more than you're doing. I would think that you would want to push the boundary, especially when you are not necessarily a super new artist, but one that is still fairly underground, not like high-selling #1 Billboard rapper. You would think that you'd want to try to put yourself out there as even more so than what you already are. But he's working with Chris Brown, he's working with Pharrell Williams, so maybe this is what he wants to do. But that's something, I'm not a big fan of the features on this album. I would say that Ty Dolla $ign is probably the only feature that I could sort of get behind. I felt like Playboi Carti's feature was a bit lackluster. I'm not familiar with Chef Cook It Up, but he's on 2 tracks, so who knows? I honestly have no idea. I don't know if that was a production job or a rapping job, or where he came from, if he's a producer or a rapper or both, but I wasn't really the features felt very throwaway. That's the best way I can put it. And Kap G was the standout amidst all of his features. Like, even on the track with Ty Dolla $ign, I still felt like Kap G took the initiative to make the track better and put it on his back and try to carry it, but a lot of times it still doesn't end up being enough. And this album, the beats feel like they run together a bit. There's not that much of interesting beats. I'm trying to get into it. I'm trying to bop my head and foot and just get into it, but there's so little in the way of just innovation or experimentation. And I'm not saying every album has to be I'm not saying every album has to be super out there and super amazing. I'm just saying that I wish there was just a little bit more. I feel like Kap G has the makings of a really good album and being a really good artist. He's a capable songwriter. He has fairly good production for his level. He's working with some talented people, but it still seems like the lyrics on this album, the flow on this album, the consistency of this album, and I'm not saying his flow, I'm saying the flow of the album from track to track. His flow's fine. I'm saying how one track can go into the other comparatively, and this album just is devoid of that. I feel like it like I said at the start, it's trying so hard to be an amazing album, but in my opinion, it fell pretty short. And like I said, Kap G has the makings of a good artist. He has a lot of the things that are needed to really make some bombshell albums and some big hits and put himself up on a pedestal even higher and work with some even, like, better people, work with some cool, really awesome people. Maybe he can push through. He's young, he has a unique sound to him, but he picks some bland beats that are so contemporarily just normal, so just run-of-the-mill, that there's nothing interesting about them, simplistic lyrics that anyone could get, and overall, just no consistency when it comes to the songs. There were some songs that I really enjoyed on this album. Like, there was the first track, Want My M's or Need My M's. I can't even remember a lot of the track names because they're so damn forgettable. But that song, it was fairly good. I mean, I kind of like the beat to Dasani, I guess. But it's just, this album has very little in the way of memorability. And I don't see a reason why I would go back to this album over some other better rappers that are out right now, and that's just how it is. And my opinion isn't always going to run along with your guys, so if you guys really, like, enjoy this album or enjoy this artist, feel free to let me know. If he has other mixtapes or albums that you think are better than this, let me know. Don't let my opinion be the end-all, be-all, because I have said multiple times in this video, I think he has the makings of a good artist. I just don't think he's achieving much right now with what he's trying to put forward. And I hope that in the future, if he does release projects, he picks some better beats, has some features that maybe do a little bit more to add to the track, maybe a little bit better production, and just, yeah, I mean, hopefully he can release a more consistent album in the future, because I'll keep my eye on him, and I will notice if he drops anything else, and I'll definitely check it out, because that's one thing about this channel, is I like seeing artists grow. Certain bands are, like, singers that I'm not a big fan of, I like trying to go back to them and see if they're doing good. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. My name is Jay Morris, Review Guy. If you like this album, please let me know. Give me your reasons. If there's anything else you want me to check out from this artist, let me know. And if you like, comment, and subscribe, I will shout your channel out. I'll talk to you next time. But until then, my name is Jay Morris, Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.